This is Heliox, where evidence meets empathy. Independent, moderated, timely, deep, gentle, clinical, global, and community conversations about things that matter. Breathe easy. We go deep and lightly surface the big ideas. All right, so get this. You send in a research paper, and it's about closed time-like curves.
CTCs?
Yeah, CTCs, those theoretical things that, might let us actually travel through time.
Yeah, it's a fascinating concept.
It is. So consider this like your express lane through some serious physics.
We're going to decode reversible dynamics with closed time-like curves and freedom of choice. It's by Tobar and Costa.
Okay.
And we'll see if they actually figured out how to make time travel work.
Without like the whole universe imploding.
Right, exactly. Without destroying the very fabric of reality.
Because let's be real, the first thing that pops into anyone's head is that grandfather paradox.
Oh, yeah?
Right, you go back, you mess something up, and suddenly, poof, you shouldn't even exist.
It's a classic problem with the idea of time travel. It seems like time travel and logic are just like mortal enemies.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting here is that Tobar and Costa think they found a way to have time travel without those paradoxes.
So less Back to the Future and more like a carefully controlled physics experiment?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. The paper really focuses on this idea of local regions of spacetime.
Local regions, okay.
So inside one of these regions, no time travel shenanigans.
Okay.
But between regions, that's where things get interesting.
So like time travel with boundaries.
Exactly.
No changing the past in your own backyard, but maybe you could opt to like a different time zone, so to speak.
Exactly.
That's a great way to think about it. And to govern these jumps between regions, they introduce this concept of process functions.
Process functions.
These are essentially the rule book for how time travel could work without breaking the universe.
Okay, so help me wrap my head around these process functions.
Sure.
They sound kind of abstract.
Yeah, they are a little bit abstract. But imagine in like this, each region has certain inputs and outputs, information, objects, whatever might be traveling through time.
Okay.
The process functions determine how these inputs and outputs connect between regions. And most importantly, they prevent any sort of paradoxical shenanigans.
So they're like a cosmic traffic cop.
Yeah. Directing the flow of time travel.
Exactly.
No cutting in line, no going back to give yourself the winning lottery numbers.
Right, and one of the really interesting consequences of these functions is that time travel between these regions often ends up being one way.
Hold on, one way?
Yeah.
So you might be able to get to a certain point in time, but no guarantee of a return ticket.
Right.
That's a pretty wild concept.
It is. It's very strange.
Yeah.
And it gets even more complex as you add more regions. So with 3 regions, there's only one basic way that this whole thing can work.
Okay.
But with 4, it just explodes with possibilities.
Oh, wow.
The paper even gives specific examples of how this could all play out.
Okay. Now my brain is starting to feel like it's doing loop-de-loops. You mentioned earlier there was a surprising connection to billiard balls.
Yeah.
Don't tell me scientists are building time machines out of pool tables.
Well, not quite. It's
Well.
more of an analogy. Scientists often use these simplified models to understand really complex phenomena. And in this case, they're using billiard balls to represent information that's being transferred in these time-traveling systems.
Okay, so the billiard balls aren't literally going back in time.
No.
But they're helping physicists visualize how information might be transferred in these scenarios.
Exactly. Each ball represents, like, a bit of information.
Right.
And the way they collide and bounce around, that represents how information could be exchanged between those local regions we talked about.
I'm picturing those elaborate trick shots where one ball sets off this whole chain reaction.
Yeah.
But instead of just sinking a ball, we're talking about sending information through time.
Right. And there's even a diagram in the paper, figure 3,
Okay.
that shows a simplified version of this billiard ball model. It looks more like a physics equation that's come to life than something out of a sci-fi film.
Yeah. So it's abstract, but it's grounded in real physics principles.
Yes.
This isn't just science fiction anymore, right? We're talking about like serious scientific inquiry into the very nature of time.
Absolutely. And here's what I find so mind-blowing. Tobar and Costa's research really suggests that consistent paradox-free time travel, at least in theory, is possible.
Wow. Okay. That's a lot to process.
Yeah.
Imagine being like one of those agents in the paper's examples and experiencing time in this completely different non-linear way.
It would definitely challenge all of our everyday intuitions about how time works.
For sure. But we've only just scratched the surface here. Remember, all of this is based on classical physics.
Right.
What happens when we bring the strangeness of quantum mechanics into the mix?
Oh, that's a whole other can of worms.
I can only imagine the quantum entanglement that would ensue.
Yeah, that's a deep dive for another day.
Another day, for sure. But for now, let's delve a little deeper into the implications of these classical models of time travel.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so before we went on that thought-provoking detour about the chicken and the egg and the very nature of time itself,
Yeah.
you were about to tell me more about these process functions.
Yeah.
How they might actually play out in different scenarios.
Right. It's one thing to have these theoretical rules,
Yeah.
but it's even more fascinating to see them in action. Remember we were talking about how with 4 local regions, the complexity of time travel really ramps up.
Yeah, you said it's like going from one possible road to suddenly having a whole map of interweaving highways and back roads.
Exactly. And the researchers actually lay out 2 specific examples of what these quadripartite 4-region process functions could look like. Each one has its own unique set of rules for how information can flow between those regions.
Okay, I'm all ears. Give me the lowdown on how these examples work.
All right, so picture this. The first example they give is all about this chain reaction through time.
Okay.
It's represented by a set of equations, but don't let that scare you. What they basically describe is how the outcome of one region can directly influence the input of another and so on across these 4 regions.
Okay, so it's like a domino effect, but across different points in time.
Yeah.
What happens in one region ripples through the others.
You got it.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets even more interesting. That influence isn't always symmetrical.
So what, you can send a message to the past but not get a reply?
Right.
Like a cosmic voicemail with no way to check your messages.
That's a fun way to think about it. But remember, the process functions are always working to prevent those pesky paradoxes.
Yeah.
So while you can't directly communicate with your own past,
Okay.
you might be able to influence someone else's past or be influenced by someone else's future, all depending on what's happening in those other regions.
So it's not just about sending messages, it's about this intricate web of influence that spans across time.
Right.
It's like a 4-way tug of war where each region is pulling on the fabric of time.
Exactly. It's this complex dance of information flowing back and forth,
Yeah.
but always governed by those strict rules to avoid paradoxes.
Okay, my brain is definitely doing the time warp again.
Yeah.
You said there was a second example of these 4-region process functions.
Yeah.
What makes that one unique?
Well, this second example really shows just how diverse these time travel scenarios can be.
Okay.
It's also represented by equations, but with a completely different structure than the first.
Okay.
And what's fascinating is that the researchers really emphasize that these 2 examples aren't just rearrangements of each other.
Right.
They're fundamentally different ways that time travel could work.
So like different flavors of time travel.
Yeah.
One might be more like hopping between fixed points in time, while another could be more fluid, allowing for subtler influences across different moments.
That's a great way to put it. The fact that they found multiple examples of these complex process functions really suggests there might be this whole spectrum of time travel possibilities out there, each with its own unique set of rules.
It's both exhilarating and a little terrifying to imagine.
Understandably. Remember, all of this is still very much in the realm of theoretical physics.
Right.
But what's important is that this research demonstrates that time travel, even with its mind-bending implications, isn't necessarily a recipe for logical disaster. We can imagine scenarios where information flows through time in these complex ways while still adhering to the fundamental laws of physics.
So time travel, while still science fiction for now, isn't inherently anti-science?
Exactly. It's a legitimate area of scientific inquiry, pushing the boundaries of our understanding of the universe.
Yeah.
And the implications are huge, challenging everything we thought we knew about time,
Right.
causality, even free will.
You know, earlier you mentioned how all of this is based on classical physics, and I'm curious, what happens when you throw quantum mechanics into the mix? Doesn't that introduce a whole other level of weirdness?
You're absolutely right.
Oh.
And that's actually a perfect segue into the next part of our discussion.
Ooh, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me. What happens when time travel meets the quantum realm?
Well, buckle up because things are about to get even more mind-bending. Quantum mechanics already deals with some pretty bizarre concepts. It's like superposition, where a particle can be in multiple states at once, and entanglement, where 2 particles can be linked across vast distances.
Yeah, I remember learning about that stuff in school, and it was pretty wild.
It is wild.
I can only imagine how time travel would complicate things even further.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
When you start talking about time travel in the context of quantum mechanics, you open up this whole new can of worms, so to speak. For example, Imagine a quantum particle traveling back in time
Yeah.
and interacting with its past self. What kind of paradoxes could arise? How would the principles of quantum mechanics even apply in such a scenario?
So we're talking about not just information traveling through time, but actual particles with all their quantum weirdness.
Precisely.
That's a whole other level of complexity.
And the researchers actually touch on this briefly in the paper.
Okay.
They acknowledge that incorporating quantum mechanics into their model would likely lead to even more intricate and challenging scenarios.
So it's like we're already exploring uncharted territory with these classical models of time travel, but adding quantum mechanics to the equation is like launching ourselves into deep space without a map.
That's a fantastic analogy.
Mhm.
But just like those early explorers who ventured into the unknown, we might stumble upon incredible discoveries along the way.
It's definitely exciting to think about. So where do we even begin to unpack the potential implications of quantum time travel?
Well, one place to start might be with this concept of quantum entanglement.
Okay.
So imagine two entangled particles separated by this huge distance. Now imagine one of those particles travels back in time. Could that entanglement persist across time?
So like, could you have a particle in the present entangled with a particle in the past?
Exactly.
Mm.
And if so, what kind of bizarre effects could that lead to? Could you potentially influence the past by manipulating the entangled particle in the present? Could you even send information back in time through this entanglement?
My head is spinning. It's like we're already talking about science fiction, but this is real science pushing the boundaries of what we thought was possible.
It is incredibly exciting. And it's important to remember that we're just scratching the surface here.
Right.
There are so many unanswered questions, so many avenues to explore.
You know, for all of the talk about paradoxes and the potential dangers of time travel, I can't help but feel the sense of wonder and possibility.
Yeah.
It's like we're peeking behind the curtain of reality and glimpsing this universe far stranger and more marvelous than we ever imagined.
I completely agree. The study of time travel, whether through classical or quantum models, is ultimately a testament to the power of human curiosity and our relentless pursuit of knowledge.
Well said. And speaking of pursuing knowledge, I think we've given our listeners a lot to ponder.
Oh.
Let's take a quick break and then come back to delve even deeper into this fascinating world of time travel and its mind-blowing implications.
Thank you to our community, which now spans 59 countries within 394 cities in 15 languages, with auto-translated captions on YouTube and our English closed captions on all providers. Such a wide range of ages, mostly 18 and older. Thank you to those who have subscribed or followed on your podcast provider in Substack. You are widely outnumbered by those that have not yet subscribed. It makes a difference to independent producers like Heliox. Please consider following, subscribing, and liking. Start a discussion on the episode content. Listen to the end for the Substack address. Back to Heliox, where evidence meets empathy.
Okay, we're back. And man, my head is still buzzing from all this talk about time travel and quantum entanglement and the potential for like rewriting the rules of cause and effect.
It's definitely a lot to wrap your mind around. But that's what makes this topic so fascinating. You know, it pushes us to the very edge of our understanding of the universe.
Right.
And forces us to confront some truly mind-bending possibilities.
You know, for all the complexities and paradoxes we've been talking about, I keep coming back to this like sense of awe. It's like we're kind of getting a glimpse of this universe where the boundaries of time and space aren't as rigid as we once thought.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder what other incredible secrets are out there just waiting to be uncovered. What other seemingly impossible things might turn out to be not so impossible after all.
It really sparks the imagination, but you know, even if we never actually achieve time travel in the way we see in movies,
Yeah.
exploring these concepts and grappling with these ideas has its own value. It really does expand our perspective
Absolutely.
and kind of deepens our appreciation for the sheer wonder of the universe.
I couldn't agree more. It's a testament to the power of human curiosity and our drive to understand the world around us. You know, even if we're just taking baby steps.
Yeah.
We're pushing the boundaries of knowledge and opening up these new avenues of exploration.
Speaking of baby steps, you know, we've been focusing a lot on the theoretical side of time travel.
Right.
But haven't there been some like real world experiments
Yeah.
that hint at the possibility of like manipulating time, even if it's on a very small scale?
You're right. There have been some really intriguing experiments in the realm of quantum physics
Right.
that suggest the flow of time might not be as absolute as we perceive it to be.
I remember reading about an experiment where scientists were able to manipulate the flow of time for a group of photons, essentially making them move backwards in time for a fraction of a second.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And while that's obviously a far cry from building a time machine that can transport us to the past,
Right.
it does demonstrate that the flow of time, at least at the quantum level, might be more malleable than we once thought.
So maybe those science fiction stories about time travel aren't so far-fetched, after all. Maybe someday, far in the future, we'll look back at this research and marvel at how far we've come.
It's certainly a possibility. And even if we never achieve that kind of time travel that we see in the movies, the journey of scientific discovery is just as rewarding. Every new insight, every answered question brings us closer to unlocking the secrets of the universe.
And who knows, maybe along the way we'll even figure out how to build those billiard ball time machines.
Now, that would be something to see. But even if we don't, the exploration of time travel has already enriched our understanding of the universe in these really profound ways.
Absolutely. And for our listeners, we leave you with this final thought. If you could travel through time, where would you go? What mysteries would you unravel? What wonders would you behold? Keep those questions in mind as you navigate your own journey through time, even if it's firmly rooted in the present moment. And until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep into the mysteries of the universe.
See you next time. Thanks for listening today. 4 recurring narratives underlie every episode: boundary dissolution, adaptive complexity, embodied knowledge, and quantum-like uncertainty. These aren't just philosophical musings, but frameworks for understanding our modern world. We hope you continue exploring our other podcasts, responding to the content, and checking out our related articles at helioxpodcast.substack.com.